Who's sorry now? But I think it's about forgiveness. Forgive me. I know not what I do. Please forgive me. I'm sorry I'm bad. I'm sorry you're blue. I'm sorry about all the things I said. Too late to apologize. It's too late. Sorry about that. The intro was probably painfully long for some of you, and for that I apologize. Which does in fact bring me to my next point. The apology tour. I'm never going to be the insensitive guy, and if I come across that way or you even tell me I am, then witness me brought to my knees until you believe otherwise. I am the overly apologetic guy. Needingly so. And for being over apologetic, you got it. I no longer know how to respond when the allegation is to be overly apologetic. I'm sorry. I'll do better. Permit me to not care how your day's going. Well. The proper apology can be tough. I mean, the proper moment, the proper amount of apology. Let's fast forward past the average layman here, past the average person who has screwed up either in their actions or in their words. Now, let's fast forward to the celebrity for a second and the multitude of of offended people all gathering in line waiting for an apology that will never be enough for them. Let's talk about Joe Rogan for a second. This goes back to his even inviting someone onto his platform who had a view on the COVID vaccine that a lot of people in a lot of musical dinosaurs did not care for. The opinion of one of his guests on his platform. And we're talking about someone who invites people onto his platform in order to have legitimate conversations. We're not even talking about an opinion that was Rogan's own, I don't think. That didn't stop Neil Young or Joni Mitchell or someone from the E Street Band not named Bruce Springsteen from offering a little ultimatum to Spotify. It's either Joe Rogan or the artists who were big in the 60s and 70s. Okay? They laid out their terms. And Spotify responded in kind. Oh, please, Spotify, don't cost me my Neil Diamond. Oh, no, I can't. I just can't live without my Neil Diamond. Oh, it's the other Neil. Oh, right. Well, Clearly, a lot of people thought that Joe Rogan owed the world a caveat of an apology for inviting someone onto his platform to discuss the COVID vaccines. This was an instance where an online celebrity couldn't apologize enough because no amount of words would ever be enough for the mob. They thought they had this guy, they thought. Except that Spotify understood that most Spotify listeners were of a young enough demographic that they would have to Google who Neil Young and Joni Mitchell even were. So, and we're talking about a demographic who would have to be young enough to know what Google and Spotify were. So, but anyway, point being, that was an instance where an apology was never going to be enough for the mob. Now let's talk about Rogan's Planet of the Apes remarks from years ago. That probably never should have been said, and I think as the tape rolled on, Rogan himself pointed out that he should have never said that. But they got him. They got him for something he said years ago that was extremely culturally insensitive. They caught him. Once again, he was in the crosshairs for having to apologize to a group of people who insisted on and on that only their version of an apology would ever be enough. He said what he said, and they caught him. Of course, once again, we're talking about an instance where the guy could grovel all he wanted as long as someone kept whining that they were still offended, or even paid lip service to being offended. And who better to find a Planet of the Apes remark offensive than a white liberal? Which is mostly who the mob is. Anyway, let's fast forward a little bit past the Joe Rogan experience. Let's talk about Will Smith and Chris Rock, because that hasn't been discussed enough. Right? The slap. It happened. It happened because of a joke. Words are much better taken back using other words, using a conversation. But speech is violence. Speech is violence. Brought to you by pretty much the same people who also claim that silence is violence. Non-threatening speech is not violent. A joke is a joke. That he could have simply sat back and, first of all, not laughed at in the first place, and secondly, simply yelled from his seat. If that. That's enough. But Will Smith was put on the burner to where he had to apologize, which he did. to his wife, to the Academy, to his fellow actors, most likely to his fans. And since this is a self-worshipping actor that we're talking about, to his God, probably. This is an award show and an actor who spends more time worshiping himself. Think about it. Just before 12 hours later, he got around to saying anything to Chris. How's that an apology? How is that a public apology? I mean, and this is just the celebrities and the artists. My turn. A lot of us average laymen do struggle with the apology. I am sorry can be the most difficult sentence to say. First of all, it suggests that you know that you've done something wrong, or that something wrong has happened to someone who you care about. But that goes into apologizing for other people's words or behavior. And Lord knows I am notorious for doing that. You had a bad day, someone else did you wrong, you stepped out in front of me. Oh gee, I'm sorry. Or what can I do to make it better? What can I do to help? Who do I have to silently will away with a glare? Okay. Yeah, that's all well and good. I mean, to a point. But when it happens all the time and I'm constantly apologizing for other people's behavior, it's obnoxious at best, or to the average listener, I can't possibly be sincere, and that's at worst. Look, just know when it's coming from me that I mean it. Please. Just accept that. And when it is my wrongdoing or my poorly chosen words, a verbal apology is the beginning of the matter. A sincere effort to make a change, or to add to the I'm sorry with, this is what I did wrong, and this is how I can change. That is almost necessary to any actual apology. Which is where a lot of underly apologetic people also get it wrong. Oh, I'm sorry. At the end. And even then, that's to the person who you actually affected or actually offended by doing something. By doing or saying whatever it was. And when you're like me and you overly apologize for your own offenses, plus apologize for any offense from anyone else, you're starting to sound needy, you're starting to grovel, and that's being overly apologetic, and I apologize for that. It's a tough call to make. But Not everyone demanding an apology is really worth it. Not everyone demanding an apology really wants one from you. Read the room. Read the scenario. As the situation merits it, yes, I will continue to apologize and to sincerely try to make a change. If not for myself, then at least for you and to help our friendship and relationship, if it's worth it to both parties anymore. If this is someone abusing a demand for an apology that they will never accept, I can only do so much. Thank you guys for listening, and hey, if you like this content, feel free to subscribe for more. Love you guys.